I can already tell you off gate that Kang the Conqueror's story is very confusing because there's a lot of time travel shenanigans, but Deadpool explains that, okay, this guy's history is complicated, but basically he's a time traveler from the future who has time traveled so much that there's several different versions of him running around history at any given point in a time. They talking about how he is or will also or may currently also be going under the following names: Iron Lad, Immortus, Kid Immortus, the Scarlet Centurion, Rama-Tut, Victor, Timely, John Titor. Yeah, a lot of time travel stuff. But the main point is that he's a fearless, determined warlord who has conquered huge areas of time despite having no inherent superpowers. His armor and technology is taken from the 41st century and makes him effectively invincible, so good luck kicking this guy. They even talk about how maybe he's a future descendant of Dr. Doom, or maybe he's a future descendant of Reed Richards. It doesn't super matter because, as we all know, we are not defined by who our parents are, which is true. Kang the Conqueror. Let's get it. You know his timelines is all over the place because another version of him doesn't remember this version of him. He's saying it is a variant, a divergent timeline, or a new loop, meaning that there's other versions of himself that are technically other reality versions of him, so killing him won't really affect each other or vice versa. So technically in this video, I'm going over a lot of different versions of Kang, or am I, Imagine being so smart like Kang that you just pull up on the Avengers and you have a whole bunch of minion type robots. On top of you being a beast, your robots or minions are a threat for the Avengers themselves, even messing up Vision, Mantis and stuff, Scarlet Witch, all of them getting handled because of Kang. And cops, what are y'all about to do? Kang the Conqueror is known for time traveling type stuff. Even going as far as back during old school days, younger him, alternate hymns by the name of Immortus. So you can call him Kang, Scarlet Centurion, Rama-Tut, a version of him that conquered the old school days, Iron Lad, the future him known as Immortus. All of this is still technically Kang, even with different outfits or even existing in different eras. Yes, I'm not even going to flex though and act like all this time travel stuff isn't convoluted as crap, but hey, work with me. That's how time travel is. And this kind of proves that Kang could technically be an Iron Man based on his technology because he literally has shown that he has a battle suit like Iron Man, even if it's a younger him, And this is a very far future him, and he achieves even more stuff. Even though this is far in the future, this one's technically even farther in the future and an older him. Before I go over his absurd battlesuit and gear in general, thanks to his intellect making him powerful basically, you will be surprised on how good of a fighter he actually is. His intelligence and technology is what he specializes in, which you're going to see a lot in this video, but his skills can actually hang with some of the best fighters. Even when his armor is jacked up on certain occasions, he can still just straight up stick you with a punch. This is part of his armor enhancement though. Got straight up punched by this being known as Hulkling, who I got a video about on the channel, who's pretty strong. He deflects all this stuff with his sword, showing that he does have some type of sword combat. But yeah, his tech is severely done right here. You can see him using a blade in this occasion. His younger self, that was kinda on some Iron Man type status, wanted to prevent his future self from ever coming into pass or changing into the future Kang the Conqueror. He will even slay himself with a blade if he wishes. His suit gives him super strength, but not like on no crazy levels when it comes to just brute physical strength. He's up there with super soldier S-type beings at least though. But yeah, his blast power and all that stuff make up for all this physical stuff he might lack, but he can at least trade blows with Deadpool level beings that are legit super soldier tier level beings. But when you bring out that doggone gun, that's a different story. But yeah, if you catch him slipping without no type of shields, and if his armor is weak or something in a particular comic, he can actually take an L, I guess. In the case with Captain America using weapon skills, yeah, you see the blade. Depending on certain situations, you can see him using a spear as well. Kang the Conqueror is one of those characters in Marvel Comics that puts a crazy good name on intelligence, and is one of those characters I would name a battlesuit king, along with Black Panther, Iron Man, Dr. Doom, and High Evolutionary, among others that are considered battlesuit kings when it comes to Marvel Comics, in my opinion. He made his own battlesuit within hours, along with a small artillery of weapons. He's one of the beings that actually has made Earth surrender, created his own unstoppable army. And I don't want to burst your bubble the later I get in this video, but a lot of his losses are actually on purpose to improve society. So if you see him lose, that doesn't necessarily mean you actually legitly beat him. He pretty much saying you didn't really defeat me. You thought you really did, but it was all purposeful. He's got some epic spaceships, which I'm going to go over later on in this vid. It's a ship that lets him view all of Earth's activities, so he's well informed. He's one of those characters that rule the far, far future and has ridiculous advanced technology. But how overpowered is his battlesuit, are we talking? The main thing that makes him scary is his ability to time travel. And because of this, he has clashed with himself a multitude of times. It's a map of how his battlesuit works. Unidentified future metal. Suit gives him superhuman strength. Gives him force fields on top of it, self-sustenance basically, and a whole plethora of weapons he can summon at will, even if his weapons are not on him at the moment, which you're going to see in this video. Yeah, he's a guy that's so power thirsty that he went around messing up other versions of himself so he could be the ultimate Kang. His battle suit is one of the most broken, but main thing that makes him scary is his time travel stuff. Yo, he's literally smart enough to build a time machine, rebuild and redesign it. His battle suit, which I'm going to get to a lot in this video, can age beings into dust and age you into dust, aka a form of time manipulation. Here's like this little time sphere, or one can say little time ball he can use to travel through time. On how his moment of death, his mind and consciousness will be transferred into another body so he won't really die for good. His flying saucer, which I'm going to get over later on in this video, has a time machine in it. He can divert the energy that you're using against him to hurt you at the time of your birth. So it's almost like you can literally kill a younger version of yourself, making your own self go out of existence, basically, like he was threatening Black Bolt to do. Can do some battlefield removal, sending you through time to remove you from the fight type of crap. In this occasion with Captain America, pretty much sending you through time. Time machine built in his suit to where he can just escape into his future. Oops, I made a mistake in battle. Let me go back in time 3 seconds to undo what I just did. 3-second recall. When he was fighting Moon Knight in another, like in the 1874, they tried to shoot him and he simply casted the bullets to the future with time manipulation so the bullets won't hit him currently here and now, which is cheating. And use your bullets against you, bro. That's not fair. Drags Hulk from present day to the future with time travel manipulations, time machine. He can look through time even if he's not in that current time, like literally watching TV. He can just chill in the dimension outside of time, looking at the events of Earth. It's natural that his time machine can move faster than the speed of light, can pretty much spy on you by looking through time to use you as a clue to get to where he needs to go to get something he needs. And then after he's done spying, literally looking through time, he can get what he needs after spying on you through time. You can see in occasions like this, you can see literal time stop type of abilities to reminisce. Stopping time mid-flight. It's almost like he's a speedster, being able to control time and still be able to move normally. If you're at an age you're not supposed to be, he can make you your real age again with his time manipulation. You know you have good technology, not even talking about just time travel stuff, when Dr. Doom himself envies your tech. Heck, when they compared Dr. Doom to Kang, it was talked about how Kang is superior to Dr. Doom thanks to the advanced sciences of his time, because you know how future stuff gets, the better technology gets as time goes by. Kang has access to stuff that other characters don't. Give you a real more grounded understanding of why he's such a threat. I mean, he's not called Kang the Conqueror for no reason. I mean, he's conquered thousands worlds and slain entire armies and enslaved trillions. He is a warrior, a fighter. Enslaved trillions. He even has robot doubles to help him conquer separate realities and stuff throughout history and stuff. He has a vast armies on his side of futuristic weapons and vehicles. He took over other worlds, not just future Earth. If you try to make some demons pull up on him, he'll just send them away. He has his own trophy room of all the characters that we love that he's taken over. Like you see the heads and shields, Captain America, Iron Man. Yeah. This is just scary to think about, and yes, he did this crap by hand. By hand. You know Marvel has a lot of powerhouse tier weapons, so just imagine them being able to be summoned at his beck and call when he feels like it. Eye of Agamotto, Juggernaut's helmet, Thor's helmet. Dude took out everybody in the future. In this particular scan, you can actually see another angle of Kang's trophy room. Like, yeah, Ultron's in his trophy room too this time. There's a lot of big names in this trophy room for Kang, bro. Talking about accolades, this is impressive. Another version of him is gone by the Timekeepers, right? But they wanted to get rid of his drive to ever become that future self. So Kang said, I do not want to become a future version of myself without the same drive. He pretty much made himself become a separate entity just because he did not want to submit to losing his drive. How do you have so much willpower that you become a separate entity just because you don't become a future version that you don't want to come true? Since his strength is not what he specializes in, and he has to wear a battle suit for enhanced strength, his strength is kind of irrelevant anyway because of his different gadgets, weapons, and blast power. When Kang was actually back in time during the pyramids and stuff, he still had high-tech gear because he had knowledge of the future. He even said no ancient pharaoh that was actually in primitive times could subdue the Fantastic Four because he's not from this time. He has gear like this Ultra Ray invented in the year 3000 because he's a time traveler. That's why he has gear that's so advanced, and that's why his blast power with his gear is so good. You're probably going to hear me bring this up again later on in the video when other Kangs and other parts of the timeline use it. It can literally sap your will and make you slaves. Best believe me, when Kang pulls out a gun or a sniper, trust me, it's not a normal sniper. You know you scary when Reed Richards prepares some type of trap to where if you're using future technology, like Kang blasting here, like Reed Richards literally says locking out all future tech. So one would easily think, oh, that would give him the advantage, right? Nope, brings out old school weaponry like the Excalibur and the legendary blade. I'm talking about lasers in his actual gloves that are incredibly destructive. Like this guy that was slugging it with Thor, for example. His blast power can damage beings like this apart. It's implied he has some level of telekinesis with his gear or gloves or whatever, pulling this symbiote apart from his host with blasts. Even when Iron Man has more up-to-date suits, he has stuff or minions that can give him damage. Yeah. Kang can even trap the Avengers and the Fantastic Four inside of a super hypercube containment thingy, Herculean tier. Explain that it's a hypercube. Here it's a 4-dimensional object, freezing these beings in time. The reason why they can't escape this. It's supposedly supposed to eventually crush you because it's shrinking at a rapid rate, crush you to death. He has gear known as the Spectrum Inverter, stated there. He can blast and paralyze the nervous system of each Avenger. Scarlet Witch is powerless to act. Entire brain seems numb. He has guns or arsenal that can shoot electric attacks that can disable a lot of different members at the same time. In the middle of a fight, he can just summon stuff like Captain America's shield or Excalibur, the legendary relic type blade, and stab powerhouses like the Thing with this kind of blade. When he comes into contact with powerhouses like Thor, he has devices, aka gloves, that can make you weigh half of a planet. His hand blasts or dissolution beams can do damage to Thor. Look at the discomfort in Thor's face. Don't forget that Thor level beings, when they clash, when it comes to their raw power and durability in general, they can produce crazy amounts of power that erupt simultaneously across all realities, aka around the whole universe. Shockwaves that cover the whole universe. And this is the type of stuff that Kang has to go against when it comes to the beings he has to continuously fight when it comes to the Avengers. Attacks that go across the entire cosmos. A suit of armor that Kang possesses. Yes, somebody else was wearing Kang's armor. It has enough energy to slay even a god like Thor. Not only can he stop your hammer, or even if you're Thor, he can stop your hammer from coming at him and then sling it back at you with enough force to split the moon with the force he can redirect. So yeah, his suit has a lot of power in it. Along with blasting apart an enemy that Thor was having issues with, it pretty much proves Kang's gear or laser blast power and etc. He has to be able to produce multi-galactic levels of force as a bare minimum. It makes sense for his guns or lasers to be this mighty considering he has pistols or gear that can damage Silver Surfer's skin, a being's power that is stated to be able to destroy a galaxy. He has Haxy type of blast he can use against you. Weapons that sap your willpower. Like what? You can see his blast right here, messing up Spider-Man and Iron Man at the same time. Drains Iron Man's suit to where he literally can't move. Even when there's Kangs from alternate realities that can withstand nuclear explosions. The main Kang that I'm going to be showing a lot throughout this video said, oh, just because you can take that nuke doesn't mean you can take one of my pistol shots, showing the raw power of his pistols. Calling alternate reality versions of him an inferior double. It's a lot of time travel stuff. He can build stuff, aka robots made by him, aka his minions, stuff that can one-shot demons. Sleep time, tossed Iron Man, giant beings like Goliath, Kang's minions, can actually make him drowsy. And we've seen them box it up with Thor, among other things. They can't take on Thor by themselves, though. That's when Kang has to step in. It honestly just adds up. This guy got stuff that can pull planets out of alignment. He has gear or equipment like this. He can pull out a random bomb that's strong enough to destroy an entire city. No Avenger is safe, even when it comes to powerhouse level Avengers like Spectrum, or one could say Photon, or one could say the earlier Captain Marvel. He has Dark Force lasers that can damage beings that are literally made of light. He has a weapon that actually disables Human Torch's powers or extinguish his flame for an hour. A piece of gear that Dr. Doom also has, the molecular expander he has, it causes the molecules to grow, like in this occasion making Captain America's shield grow, to smash him with his own shield. Has a piece of gear, a weapon that causes the enemy's weapons to explode. He has stuff that's inconceivable to the 20th century. These things known as Delta Rays. They're solid, yet interdimensional, capable of penetrating any barrier known to man. They can, quote-unquote, destroy anything in their path. He has his own ships, or one could say flying saucers he can summon to turn the entire woods into glass. A vibrator ray that can blast apart tanks. So he can kind of sit back and relax, control the ship, and the ship just messes you up from far away if he wants to. Because he can suck you into the ship, and pretty much put you in jail. He's able to hold these certain Avengers like Iron Man, Giant Man, and while he's on his ship, he can just kind of summon nukes to attack you with it. And of course, you guessed it, this flying saucer has a built-in time machine, right? He has gear that can disable beings like Spectrum, beings made of light. He has gear and soldiers on his ship that can even give Avengers like Iron Man issues. Even Wonder Man, who's a powerhouse tier, a being like this we've seen slug it with Hulk level beings, look like Spectrum's going night-night. And these, look, she's asleep. And these are considered fodder beings. Without even counting his saucer and stuff, he still has stuff that can just blow up the entirety of Washington, D.C. This bomb that can destroy Washington, D.C. is because of this ship that Kang has. He has a sword space station that's just chilling above him that can fire blasts by him simply pressing a button. That can blow up cities, machines that just wipe out towns with their blast. Powerhouses like the Thing, who should not be slept on. He has beams that can put him and others in paralysis and cause them great pain with his blast power. With all his crazy strength, he can't move. And if you try to blow up his space station, it's actually way more durable than you would expect, even if you fire nukes at him. It's still durable enough to withstand all this bull crap. But back to his gear, battlesuit, and stuff when it comes to his destructive power of being able to damage Silver Surfer with just his guns, or indeed burn his skin. He can pull out any weapon in his arsenal just by summoning it with a finger tap. And he has these overpowered weapons that he can blast or shoot you with that does crazy destructive power to powerhouses. Guns that can one-shot a whole bunch of different Avengers at the same time if you wish. He has cloaking tech that can hide from Silver Surfer's crazy senses. When it comes to defense, he has a lot of ways other than just shields to counter you. Like, for example, he has his own form of full counter from an anime I watched, basically, to be able to deflect all your energy back at you, causing it to strike you instead of him. An absolute counter type of technique. Don't judge me. And if he wants to, he can just emit radiation. He can make an antimatter shield that incinerates everything that gets close to him, or deflect stuff even like Thor's hammer. It didn't incinerate it, it just bounced it back when it comes to Thor's hammer and stuff though. So it takes a certain level of durability to not be incinerated by this shield he has here. He can press a button to send a hammer into subspace, aka send that crap away so it won't hit him. I mean, he has a lot of ways to counter, but his raw defense when it comes to shielding is crazy. He shields from blasts from vision. You can't just go in his head and call it a day because his mind is shielded from telepathy thanks to his battle suit. His shield attacks can protect him from the combined attacks from the Avengers. Keep note that one of them being Thor. Yep, the same with blast from Silver Surfer. Even if you miraculously hit him without his shield up, his shield kind of still gives him some good protection regardless of it, thanks to his armor. Being punched by Namor and Hercules, and is still kind of good afterwards. I mean, the armor is made of unknown metals, so he's definitely not a glass cannon, but even repeated attacks from Thor, his shields can definitely hold up to, even though Thor is one of them people that can actually get the advantage over him when it comes to people that can actually push him to the edge. And a pissed off Thor that's really mad, he can withstand multiple hits from. But right here, he doesn't even flinch when Mjolnir's thrown at him. His suit can withstand hits from Thor's mightiest blows, but repeated hits can indeed weaken it. Keep in mind that punches or strikes from Thor or Herculean level beings can demolish worlds. Human Torch, a being that can literally become a star or star levels of heat. His ships, or one could say gear or devices, can shield from this kind of heat. Regardless of all this mess, Kang laughs and saying, "I'm okay inside my shielded ship." He can shield from Iron Man blasts, also use Iron Man's energy to make his suit powered up more than ever. Speedster type beings like Quicksilver he can block from, but he had a hidden force screen activated. He can even shield from Final Form Ultron that was busted. This ridiculously overpowered Ultron took a blast from this many heroes. There go Kang, there's Doom, Hercules, Vision, Surfer, Miss Marvel, Magneto, Cyclops, all this crap. And he shielded from a being this powerful. You know, Ultron was kind of busted right here, though. Beings like Magus, who's basically Adam Warlock, he's had to take attacks from to show how good his gear has to be. The Ebony Blade by Black Knight, he can shield from. God of Strength level beings like Hercules, he can block. His ships badly crashing to Earth, his defense can protect him pretty good. He has a lot of different backups. Stuff like this shouldn't be fair. When you shoot at him, he will send it to the future. Like if you shoot him, he will send the bullet to the future so it won't hit him currently. Is that just absurd? He has like his own form of spider sense, one could say. His suit alerts him of danger. I would like to think that his suit gives him enhanced fighting speed. It would be weird for him not to build something like that in his suits. I mean, that's how he's able to avoid lasers. He reacts to a big chunk of rubble thrown by Hercules. He blasts it apart. can react to Captain America's shield throw. When it comes to his fighting speed in general with his gear and everything put together, it was stated by Thor that his attacks are nearly impossible to deflect based on Thor's reaction speed. I mean, one could say he has reaction speed just because of his time manipulation too, because speedsters like Quicksilver try to blitz him and he can control time, and the speed blitzes fail. It would be weird if his suit could not change the way he looks, shape-shifting type stuff, right, to look normal, right? You probably had no idea that Sentinels is like, it's because of Kang they even exist, because he has influence even way in the past, because he had influence over the robots industry. Yeah, them pesky things that be messed with the mutants is because of Kang. We're not gonna act like thanks to his genius he didn't create an exact duplicate of Spider-Man, bruh. And he's one of the greatest military geniuses the world has ever known. Thanks to his accomplished science far in the future, this is what he did to a coyote with genetic modifications and stuff in his head, but he can also do some mind manipulation type stuff. I know it's hard to believe, but Kang the Conqueror, just like every other character I go over on this channel, has gotten the famous temporary power up. Yay, let's celebrate. To where he gets temporary power to apparently become omnipotent. Yeah, sure. Gets an incredible amount of power, apparently drinking the soul of a god. He was absorbing the most powerful energy source in all of existence, the soul of the celestial executioner, merging his essence with its omnipotent will. So in this state, when it comes to raw power output, fusing with the celestial for a temporary amount of time, maybe omnipotent was an exaggeration, but yeah, his power fused with an actual celestial, he became godlike. Yeah. Like, it's basically Kang plus this celestial, right? I mean, Kang literally said it right here. It was short-lived because despite him getting this crazy power, they can't have the heroes lose for good, right? So, of course, Havoc and Sunspot got some power absorbed too so they can fight against Kang. And during their fight, contending against Kang, they was able to disperse it. But for a while, they was getting messed up by Kang's power. Just look how they describe Kang's power currently, though. Even though this is impressive and temporary, it says grown far beyond the physical realm when it comes to power. Making you watch the suffering for eternity, apparently, when he wants to just make you suffer and look at him punishing the people you like or love, talking about how he has such raw cosmic power. And that's when it's revealed that the same energy that resides currently within Kang, Havoc pretty much let him know that the same energy courses through him as well. That's why he's going to make Kang undo his BS. You can see them having a power struggle, two massive powers colliding with one another. Kang claiming he is God. And that's when Sunfire blasts him and disperses the ridiculous energy. And this is when Kang was pretty much forced to flee, no longer having this absurd power. Time to go. So let's go ahead and scratch this out. I mean, he's still a threat like this regardless, right? I've been going over a lot of Kang in this video. One could argue I haven't even gotten his prime self, aka the far future version of himself. That's crazy. It's crazy to think how scary he is in the future when he can already do all this stuff in his main version that's not even older. Oh boy, let's see how lethal he is. This Kang is supposedly a more mature version of himself and actually kind of is done and retired from the conquering stuff. One can make the argument that the reason why this version of Kang is so powerful because he got his hands on ancient stuff the other Kang didn't. Like this forever crystal. It's like one could say his MacGuffin. One can say his Infinity Stone. An overpowered artifact that makes him more overpowered than he should be, right? He got this by destroying his own stronghold and converting it into a power source. His place Chronoopolis, his own place built by Kang. So he converted this into an energy source to where he would get an overpowered artifact, basically. This version of him is the master of time. He can just straight up destroy an entire timeline. So imagine there's a timeline. I'm just going to use this random timeline, for example. He can just, with this forever crystal that he created out of his own base, he can just wipe out the entire timeline just as he sees fit, destroying the universe itself, messing up all of reality's timeline. With this new forever crystal, Immortus is able to reorder the timeline as they see fit. I want to make clear that this is not something Kang created. This is like the chrono canon the timekeepers made, but they're using the energy from what Kang has to reorder everything in the multiverse so they can reorganize the flaws. Yeah, this scan pretty much proves that Immortus, aka Kang the Conqueror, or future Kang the Conqueror's crystal was powering the chrono canon as the ultimate weapon to shatter all of reality, rebuilding it to their own whim. The combatants on the one side, every Avenger from every timeline that ever went sour, went bad, brought here, summoned, which this is just ridiculous. Very knowledgeable on time type stuff, just like his younger self is, because of the timekeepers and his heavy relations with them. They taught him the secrets of time, and I learned much under their tutelage. He even tricked the main Kang into getting rid of the other versions of himself so he won't have to be worrying about other versions of himself coming after him and make it less competition, basically. Immortus, aka Kang, has his own dimension he rules over, like Limbo, that pretty much has his own laws of physics and stuff that usually work, like the worthiness enchantment on Mjolnir doesn't even work in this dimension to where he can hold Mjolnir here. Yeah, don't fight him in Limbo, because the only enchantments here are Kang's. And when it comes to this castle, since he makes the rules here, it's his dimension, it's hard to navigate. Yeah, and it's easy to get lost. Even teleporters like Lockjaw can't just teleport in Limbo. You can't stay here too long, or they get trapped in Immortus' dungeons. They will eventually forget their former lives and change. They become time beings, ghosts, long forgotten in the real world, space phantoms. Even Immortus would have suffered this fate if he didn't have the timekeepers machines and stuff. In this occasion, he was dressed up as his old self, Kang the Conqueror. He made like his own energy constructs looking like Green Lantern type stuff to fight multiple different characters or heroes. He has the standard force fields and blah, blah, blah stuff. Blocks attacks from Hawkeye's arrows. Even the god of strength level beings like Hercules, he can block. Standard stuff that Kang, even in his earlier days, could do. He even went in Iron Man's mind to the point he made Iron Man do stuff there's no way he would normally do, like murdering civilians. He has shields that can stop attacks from speedster level beings like Quicksilver, powerhouses like Wonder Man. All of these attacks at the same time, like super soldiers like US Agent, can't breach it. Hawkeye, stop trying to use bow and arrows against a future version of Kang. We've seen him one-shot Iron Man or even future versions of Hulk. Even powerhouses like Guinness Vale, I have a video about on the channel. Basically a Captain Marvel tier. Yeah, y'all getting murked by a future Kang. A being like this, Immortus, aka future Kang, created to fight different heroes we like, powerhouses like Thor. This same being can also manipulate time, and he's considered a minion. This minion of this future version of Kang, Immortus, can create a time storm. This being can hit Silver Surfer to where he flies off his board. His time manipulation is so crazy he can even age powerhouses like Wonder Man. Other versions of himself, working together with Immortus, can actually imprison the Time Stone, capturing time inside a bottled no time. He can use time manipulation to phase through attacks, can send you back to your appropriate time if you're not in the right time stream. And if other versions of himself need help, like Rama-Tut, he will miraculously save them because it's still technically him. If you give this man enough resources or energy to siphon, he can use that Nexus power from those 4 timelines to move to another plane of existence, making himself no longer a man, but he has become a quantum wave infiltrating one alternate reality after another. If he isn't stopped, he will reorder the entire multiverse to make himself master of all time. Bruh, just like other Kangs, he can monitor different eras when it comes to time. Yeah, if he thinks your timeline is unnecessary, depending on the context and resources he has, he would just get rid of it. So future him is pretty scary. You try to blitz him like Yellow Jacket, he will just put you in a container and contain you. Speed blitzing him is pointless because he controls time and speed is kind of time related, and no, speed is irrelevant to somebody that can manipulate time on this level. He's such a god in Limbo, he can literally bring you back to life. Because his realm is different than the normal realm, he makes the laws of physics here, technically, I guess. And he can just send you to Limbo if you try to come at him. He has his own Legion of the Unliving that he can have fight for him. There's a reason he's a future Kang at the end of his journey and not the current one, because he's pretty much unstoppable in this Limbo dimension. A place that exists outside the time stream itself. It's a reflection of his wishes, his moods. He's literally a god in this place. What more do we have to say? I mean, he sealed up another version of himself, imprisonment style. Let's just hope current Kang doesn't get the idea to use his place as a power source, like this future version of him did, the Chronopolis, to create the Forever Crystal. Or we're gonna have to deal with this bullcrap in this version of Kang as well, and we don't want that. But anyways, everybody, that's just about going to do it. Do you respect Kang the Conqueror? Do you like this future version of himself where he can just erase timelines if he doesn't like it? Do you like the more classic version where he doesn't really use the Forever Crystal and do all this timeline erasing, even though he still can do kind of some sort of timeline erasure, even in his classic state that we see the most? But if I'm being honest, Kang is a menace, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation of Kang. Did you know that he was this much of a menace? You probably did. But before I get going, I got to say thanks to you all that have donated to the channel. It helps out a lot, believe it or not. Respect Kang the Conqueror, or Immortus, or Iron Lad, or whatever his name is, or Rama-Tut. You know, you get the idea. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.